What it do, ye old blokes and dames of the internet? All right, that was a pretty unique one. I was trying
Yeah, I
something
liked
new.
it.
Not
No,
sure
I
if
like
I'll throw it back a couple centuries again, but hey, it was worth it once. It is Wednesday, June 9th, and it is Elevated Takes coming at you live. How are you doing, everybody? How are you doing, RJ?
Doing fantastic. Very happy. And I'm just going to throw it out there real quick. Christian Pulisic pulling up for the US of A.
Number
Love
one.
it. Number one. Well,
super best.
I hope so. I really hope so
Yeah.
this year.
We'll see. We'll see.
It was nice.
Yeah,
Get
I don't
our
know. It
Chelsea
was a
boys
good.
in there.
I had a couple friends who went out to that game. Apparently, it was out in Colorado.
Really?
Oh yeah, pretty. I'm kind of pissed I didn't go actually.
Yeah, that would have been pretty dope.
On some other stuff, I see you're wearing your golf hat. I'm wearing mine. Shot a 51 through 9 this weekend. Feeling pretty
Let's
good
go.
about the old swing there. Only 15 over. Not doing too bad. What'd you do this weekend?
Not much, man. Just chilled. Just fixing the house up, relaxing, getting ready for this. Just like building up all my piss and vinegar just to go off on my elevated take. You know what I mean?
Oh man, it's got a heated one today, huh? Well,
yeah,
it's good to hear
passion.
you did nothing but mow the lawn and wear your New Balances this weekend. Good to hear.
Exactly. Hey, don't doubt it.
Well, I'm sure you had enough time to process some hot shit. Then, what do you got for the folks today?
Yeah, so on Sunday, I'll just bring up. Well, technically Saturday, John Rahm, golfer, he was winning by 6 strokes. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's a pretty big lead, and you're going into a Sunday on that. You're just gonna win. Like
golden.
9 times out of 10, that person's gonna win. Well, they came to him and said, "Hey, you tested positive for COVID, and now you gotta sit down, and you're out of the tournament." The sports world is pretty rocked by that because, we've had COVID for a year roughly now, right? And so we haven't had that happen where it took a player out in their peak of when they were absolutely killing it. And a lot of people are going online like, "Hey, we got to change this. This isn't right." But my take on this is it is right. That's the right thing to do. As much as we hate it and as much as it sucks that he lost out on $1.6 million was that purse for getting first place. That's rough. But if you got COVID, you can't risk all your players to be out the rest of the season. I mean, it's a deadly virus. I'm sure a lot of our viewers at home have had family members who've been sick with it and potentially, have passed on because of it. So I'm not going to be like, this needs to change. No, this is probably the right call. It was a hard call, but sometimes the hardest calls to make are the right calls.
No doubt about it. And not to mention, if there is one sport in America where there are a bunch of elderly, vulnerable to this virus folk walking around the athletes, it's definitely golf. So it sucks. I wish that there was some sort of reprimandation or not reprimandation, but compensation that the PGA Tour could give to him. Just be like, "Hey, sorry you missed out. At least here's some sort of purse," because you damn near made it to the last day and you ended up testing positive. It really, really sucks. And you don't want to see somebody have to withdraw for something like that, but it was the right decision, and we are not here to criticize that. So cheers, PGA Tour. You did it. You made the right call, and I'm glad you did it.
One thing I'll say real quick, just so we kind of cover our bases, he is fine. He seems to be asymptomatic. He seems to be in good health. So he should be available
he
for the
better
next
be.
tournament.
He was beating the field. He better be in good health. Imagine if he wasn't. He's still 6 strokes up going into Sunday. It's nuts.
Yeah. Okay, the next one, my next hot shit, dude, I could watch this video over and over and over. I don't know if you've seen it. The Tennessee Volunteers, his name is Drew Gilbert. He literally did what I've practiced in my backyard a bazillion times. I know other kids have too. Bottom 9, 2 outs.
Oh, yeah.
Bases loaded.
Yeah.
Down three. This dude hits a moonshot. This ball never came down.
Dinger.
Right into right field. And so he hits it. He stops. He stares. He walks a couple steps, turns around, literally does I'm soaking this in. Looks at it, looks at the pitcher, and then just flings the bat up and trots down the bases. And his team goes, the team's on home plate. It's goosebumps. I literally got goosebumps just talking about it.
It's the perfect sports moment.
Yeah,
yeah.
It may be one of my top 5, honestly. And that sounds so dumb because it's just a college baseball game. You can't get that. That's not real life. That's what when you buy MLB The Show 2012, that's where you load into the game and you practice so you learn how to swing in the new video game. That's not real. That doesn't happen.
No, I mean, I do agree with you that it is stupid to put that in your top 5 just because, like you said, the gravity of the situation. But there are, I mean, like Michael Jordan's shot over the Utah Jazz, like in Game 6, like that. Come on, like it's equivalent, I think, to something in the college baseball playoffs, probably. But it is like the dream scenario. Like you said, any baseball player who has ever played in the like sand lot with his buddies have definitely like simulated that to a much lesser. And I think I read like 3 articles about this hit, right? And each one of them was like, "Oh, Tennessee Star's getting shit for his bat flip." It's like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, did he go too far? Did he go too far? It's like, what? Where have we become in such like this soft ass America, where we are giving a kid who literally just lived out his dream to take his brethren like to the promised land in the dream scenario and giving him shit about a bat flip? Like it's just nutty to me.
Yeah. No, you just hit a grand slam in the bottom of the 9th to advance your team. You can do whatever you want. I mean, like that's just
agreed. If he took off his shirt in North Carolina, like I'm totally okay with that. Like 100,000%. You just hit a grand slam in the bottom of the 9th, 2 outs to bring the orange home. Like go for it, dude. Go for it all day.
That's what I had. What are you steaming up for us?
So I've got some much more mainstream shit to bring to the people
today.
Cool.
I'm
sure a lot of you have already heard, but hey, that's why it's hot shit, because it's boiling on the old stubbin there. The stubbin. Boom. Holy shit, the stove oven. I just made up a new word.
No,
welcome
to
the stubbin.
I like it.
The stubbin era. So, Julio Jones, also known as the best wide receiver in the league. He played for the Atlanta Falcons forever, got balls tossed to him by Matty Ice, and they almost won a Super Bowl until Tom Brady decided to act like Tom Brady. He just got traded to the Tennessee Titans. So another Tennessee story for y'all, but they have a new number 1 wide receiver. I mean, I'm sure he'll be number 1 over A.J. Brown just because, like I said, he's the best wide receiver in the league. But yeah, big news, making ripples.
Top 5.
We all knew that wasn't going to work over in Atlanta. He had made that vehemently clear going into the end of the season. And I'm excited to see what the Titans bring. I mean, you know, they got Henry in the backfield. If they can get themselves a quarterback who's not named Ryan Tannehill, they might be okay. But we'll see how it goes.
You see, what I liked is he had so many options, and the fact that he chose the Titans, like I don't get it, but the best way I can describe it is I saw a meme on the internet, and it was like, oh, Tannehill rolls. He can dump it off to Derrick Henry. Oh, he dodges a guy. Oh, he's looking at his crossing route. He's got A.J. Brown. Nope, he doesn't like that. Oh, throws a bomb to Julio Jones. Touchdown. Tennessee Titans 33, Buffalo Bills 68.
Oh, I mean, like, I'm sure. Like, yeah, because Vrabel ain't giving up 68 points to nobody. You crazy out there? Crazy over there?
Like, it doesn't make them like a championship team. I really don't think it elevates their team into the conversation between the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, and the Bills. Like, they're just not in that conversation.
I agree, and last year showed that, because I mean they obviously had a run 2 years ago, and they were looking pretty good. But I stick. Vrabel's gonna put a good defense.
He's a great coach.
Any secondary that faces that offense is going to pee their pants, like, because A.J. Brown's a killer too. I don't know if anyone out there knows who that guy is.
Yeah.
And shout out to Julio Jones for just being an all around cool guy, because A.J. Brown offered him his famed number 11 and he declined it. He's taking number 2. Which, if you didn't know, is 1 + 1.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he went the mathematical route. Yep. So AJ Brown's keeping AJ Brown's keeping 11, who's also, in my opinion, a top 10 receiver. You could make an argument for top 5. The dude's a stud.
But they need a quarterback. Great.
Until they get that, that's what wins you Super Bowls, is a quarterback. Like what? Unless you're the Ravens and you have Trent Dilfer or Joe Flacco. You need a good quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and right now I just don't think Tanny's it.
I don't think now's the time, but I think at some point on a podcast, someone in the comments remind me. I think you're sleeping on Tannehill. His stats are over the past year and a half, basically since he's been with them. His stats are comparable, like 100% comparable with Patrick Mahomes in the regular season.
Yeah,
like I think side by side, the numbers are amazing.
Your final 3 words there were the key.
Regular
season.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's the difference. Is Tom Brady can throw 6 yards a game and still take his team to the Super Bowl, because the quarterback position is much less. I mean, it is about what you can do on the field, but there are, again, 11 guys on that field who can provide something of value to you. The key quarterback characteristic that ultimately defines a team is leadership, and that's what I don't think Tannehill has. I don't think he can get a locker room to overextend their potential like other great quarterbacks in the league can. And that's where I think he ultimately falls short. Maybe his stats are fantastic, but Ben Roethlisberger's stats are always fantastic.
Yeah.
And
he's still a Hall of Famer.
Steelers don't do anything. Yeah, he is a Hall of Famer because he won Super Bowls back when when he gave a crap about it.
Well, this will be Tannehill's most talented team. So let's see what they do. But again, they might have some success in the playoffs, but they can run into the Chiefs or the Bills. They're just going to get buzzsawed. So what else you got for us?
Mainstream hot shit numero dos. Joker. Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets has ran away with the MVP. And honestly, dude, he might be the most deserving MVP I've seen in a long, long time. Like especially because even when before Jamal Murray went down, he was not the Jamal Murray of the bubble. Like, he was playing fine, but he wasn't killing it. Their team got worse after they let Jeremy Grant go up to Detroit, and he still got him in the playoffs, banging away. Like, he is one of the most underrated players in the entire league. Like, if you look at jersey sales, like, Joker is far and away one of the most underrated players, and it's because he's a big man. We just talked about on our last podcast how big men don't really get a whole lot of credit in today's game. But he's a big man who has so much swag on the court that he doesn't always need to play like it. He can shoot, he can maneuver similar to Luka because he's not quick, but he can create space and score. He's just a stone cold killer, and I'm glad he won the MVP because the league needed a MVP like Joker after just seeing guys put up crazy numbers and then not do anything in the playoffs, where Joker hasn't won a chip, but he always shows up when they need him to show up.
So what I liked about it is I believe he had 91 votes, something similar to that. The next closest was Steph Curry with 5. So, like, when you said you ran away, like, 100%, he ran away with it, and he deserves it. Like, I believe it was 20 games into the season. I looked online to see, like, dang, Joker's killing it. Like, maybe I'll put some money on him to win the MVP. And he was already, like, the favorite by a bazillion, so, like, there was no money to be made on it. But that kind of pissed me off, and I'm like, dang, man, like, everyone knows this? Am I late to the party? 20 games into the season. So he deserved it. For sure. You can't take it away from him. You're happy for him. He makes that team likable for me. Not saying they're unlikable, but he's kind of like Luka, in my opinion. Maybe I just like the foreign players. 100%. He's just so happy. Like, and when he gets angry and stuff, like, it's in a lovable way. Like, I don't see him throwing tantrums and, like, throwing the ball or yelling at his teammates in an angry way on the bench. He's a very uplifting teammate. He'd be a great teammate.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't compare him to Luka there, because Luka definitely gets heated on the court and throws the ball and gets pretty heated. Luka's one of the worst at that. Not to mention, did you see Luka reject PG-13 out on the court for the jersey swap?
Yes.
If you go back and watch it, Paul George tried to swap some jerseys with him, and because he's a competitor. I get it. You're a competitor. Dude, you just beat me after coming back when I was up 3-1, or 3-2 maybe. I think they tied the series at 2-2. But either way, I was up. I should have taken this home, and I didn't. Like, get out of here. Like, that's what everybody loved about Jordan, right? He didn't talk to the people who just beat him on the rare occasion that they did. But either way, the other story with the NBA MVP that I think is funny is Derrick Rose got a first place vote. Now that's a joke. Who voted for Derrick? I love Derrick Rose. Don't get me wrong. his night in Minnesota a couple of years ago was one of the best.
Dope.
Like
hell yeah,
one of the best
game of the
things
year
that I've
year.
seen. Yeah.
Ooh.
But MVP, like really, who out there loves Derrick Rose that much in the league? Who's like putting him number one? It's crazy.
So like we saw the same thing then. We saw the same thing, and so I looked at like the comments on that article because I'm like, where like it doesn't say where Derrick Rose got this vote from, and someone on there said it was a fan vote. Like apparently there's like they take accumulation of a whole bunch of fans who can vote online or something. I don't know because I didn't do it. Maybe it came from that. If not, I don't know. There ain't no way in hell you're telling me he deserves to be. Luka wasn't on that list. You're telling me Luka didn't get a single vote, but Derrick Rose gets a vote?
There are literally 50 players in the NBA who I would have voted for MVP over Derrick Rose. Like, it's a joke. And that is why fans shouldn't vote. That's why fans shouldn't vote in the All-Star game. That's why because that's how you get the exact same people constantly. Because they don't play the sport. They don't know who's doing legitimately well, and they vote with their hearts, and that shit's got to stop.
Agreed.
But hey, enough about how crappy NBA fans are, because we've talked about that a lot lately, because they haven't been super great, although there hasn't been any catastrophic blow-ups so far, so keep it up, NBA fans.
Yeah,
you're not throwing popcorn or throwing drinks on people anymore, so that's good news. Keep that up. You got an elevated take for us today?
Yeah.
You're going to bring the thunder? Seems like you were excited about it.
It rolls right in. So.
Perfect. Well, when are you ready, bro? You ready now? Because I'm ready now.
I'm ready now.
All right, well, then you better hit it right now.
So I wrote this right after it happened. So we're just going to title this My Mavs Rant. And so I'm just get into it. The refs at the end of Game 7 were very frustrating. And I'm not going to say they were completely wrong because some of it was technically correct. But if you watch basketball, it's just wrong. What I'm going to say is at the very end of the game, Tim Hardaway Jr.'s foul was a foul, yes. It was not a technical foul. I don't care. It was not a flagrant. No, I'm not about that. No way at all. That's me as a fan saying. Now, the one that I will say, technically, they got the call right on Kawhi Leonard's backcourt violation, saying he did not violate it. I don't care who you are. If your feet land on one side of the court and you have possession of the ball, I don't care about your momentum carrying you over. You bring a foot over on the other side, that's a backcourt violation. No. I don't play that, homie. Give me my ball. That ain't right. Okay. That was about... I just had to get that off because the refs were very infuriating. It felt like a pass interference in the NFL. That's just wrong. What I want to talk about is the actual Mavs, all right? Luka needs to play the entire game. Love Luka. Favorite player. I'm not going to really go into him, but he had 46 points in the entire game. He had 21 in the first quarter. So you need to pace yourself or just keep scoring. But it's not like that was Game 7. He did that through every single game. And that credit to their defense because they tried to slow him down later on in the game. It worked, whatever. Not going to go in on Luka. The guy I do want to go in on is Porzingis. You are killing me. Porzingis, you are killing me. Okay? He has to be one of the worst defenders in the league. And, like, I know I say that, and, like, people are like, oh, maybe not. No, he is. Like, halfway through the season, trade deadline, there was rumors saying that we're about to trade him. And Mark Cuban's like, no, we're not going to trade him. No. Oh, golly. No, man, are you kidding me? Well, the coach was like, no, he's bad on defense. Like, when we had our big storm here in Texas, they said he worked at 3 practices solely on defense, and he mentioned Porzingis needs to improve. So, like, he's been called out by his own coach. Okay. When it's the playoff time and you can't even protect the rim being a 7-footer, you need to adjust your game style. You need to adjust your game style. Then when Kawhi Leonard takes you back to the rim constantly, it's just, you were embarrassing. It was, quite frankly, just embarrassing. What else I gotta say is, you're the big dude who shoots threes, man. They make sketches about you on the internet. Good old Charmin Soft over here knows all about that. Big guys can not only shoot threes, okay? You can't. He was 0-5 in a game 7 from the 3-point line. Do you want to know how many of those balls he followed his shot on? He followed his shot and would, like, at least try to get a rebound to the rim, like make a basketball play. 0. 5 lost possessions. Right there. That is just poor basketball effort, IQ, whatever you want to call it. I don't like it. His last 3 games, your second best player, last 3 games, he got you 31 points. I need more than that in 3 games. Luka did that. Luka got more than that in just 1 game. Okay? That's rough. One thing I would like to say is I saw something online that just put it perfectly. Well, let me say this first. What's his name? Porzingis said, I feel like a second fiddle here. Like, I want more credit, give me the ball more and stuff like that. Okay? Porzingis and Luka are like Shaq and Kobe. Except Luka is Shaq and Kobe. Okay? Like that, like, I don't know what more do I can say it. I don't know where my time's at. So, do I still got some time left, Shady, or no?
No, we're way over, but it was your rant, so I wanted you to just have the floor. I know this
rebuild the roster.
Went close to the heart.
Yeah, rebuild the roster. I got more. I'll sprinkle it in later. Go ahead.
All right, sounds good. No, you're 100,000,000,000% right. There are 3 specific referee instances that I consistently cannot stand. It is offensive pass interference period in the NFL playoffs, holding in the NFL playoffs,
Agreed.
And NBA refs period in the NBA playoffs. Like, those are the 3 instances of refereeing where I just can't stand it, and it shined bright as ever in the end of that Dallas game. Like, you were 1,000% right on that, but that wasn't even really what your point was about. Your point was about how much the Mavericks need to invest in a second fiddle to Luka, because it's the truth. Like,
and
Porzingis is not that guy. Porzingis is not that guy, and he will never be that guy. He ranked 180th in the playoffs in defensive win shares. 180th he's a starting 7-foot center, and he ranked 100. Like you said, if their small forward is backing down your biggest rim defender, because Kleba ain't it. Like, get Kleba out of there.
No, I mean,
you
did have Boban. We had Boban. So, like,
he seems like he's 100 years old and he moves as slow as a snail. Like, that's what made the Shaq so effective, was that he was still quick on his feet. Yeah, he was slow, especially when he got bigger, when he moved on to the Cavs and then the Suns, and even at the Heat, he was getting bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was still quick on his feet. Luka's slow, Kleba's slow, and, like, the rest of that team just didn't seem very fast. And literally the only losing coach, per se, that I trust in the NBA is Rick Carlisle. Like, Rick Carlisle is the only coach who, like, I'm always behind what he has to say, because those 2011 Mavericks were, like, one of the greatest teams I've ever seen play, and there's a reason why he's still head coaching that team when they've had so many losing seasons. When he's calling your second best player out and he responds the way that Porzingis responds, it tells you that he is the 4th or 5th player, the best player on a winning team. Right now, he's your second. And Tim Hardaway Jr. is doing everything that he can to show the world that he should at least be he's better than Zing. Especially in the second half of the year, Tim Hardaway Jr. showed himself to be better than Porzingis. Porzingis is only good in green grass and high tides. If it's the easiest game of your life, Porzingis is going to put up 30 and grab you probably 9 or 8 rebounds, which is insanely low for what he represents on the court.
What he should be doing. Yeah, no, I agree. Tim Hardaway Jr., I think he's a really good role player. I don't know if he has hit that top 3 level. I think he could on a different team. I just think he is a possession guy, and you need off ball guys. So, like, what I want them to do in the offseason, as crazy as it sounds, and I know it sounds crazy, Kawhi Leonard has a player option here. So that'd be freaking dope. Like, Luka and Kawhi Leonard, that's a title contender right there. Like, no debate. So,
agreed.
But I don't know the numbers, how that works. And Luka's about to sign a super max deal. this offseason. He was asked about it. He was asked about it, and he didn't say anything. He just started to smile. So, like, I mean, he's here for a long time, hopefully. Yeah. And then the other person I'd like them to bring in would be Bradley Beal, an off-the-ball scorer. Just you gotta guard him. If not, you double team Luka. Luka gives it to him. Trey. I mean, those would be two superstars who would be a real two. Because Luka is a top 3 player in the world right now. He is amazing.
Agreed. 100%. I just think what scares me about Beal is, like, yes, he can play off the ball, but he's still way more successful with the ball. And Luka is, like, ball dominant to the T. Like, he's arguably one of the most ball dominant players in the league. Yep. I think the biggest mistake that they made this offseason, because I agree with you, Tim Hardaway Jr. is not a top 3 guy on a team. He needs to be around that 4th or 5th level. Same with Porzingis. That's just who they are. That's what they do. They need to bring in a rim protector who can actually play defense. I'm sure Dwight Howard will take a call. Like, he doesn't need to play offense. They just need something on the deep, because they're going to score 140 points a game. They proved it this series. So get someone who can actually defend the rim and doesn't allow their small forward to back you down to the paint and show you what's up. And then I think the biggest mistake they made was letting go of Seth. I think them letting Seth Curry walk was a nightmare for them. Like, someone he would have come up clutch in this series.
I completely agree. Someone who popped in my brain, who you brought up. So, like, ideally, right, if I could build my team however I wanted, the Joker doesn't win MVP, and obviously he's going to be locked up forever. The Joker comes on and plays with Luka. The Luka and Joker? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, I would vomit, because that team would be too good. All of the European power in the city of Dallas would be too much.
And then Zingis would work, because Zingis can sit at the 3. He doesn't have to be the center. You know what I mean? Like, he can just be like, no, I'm gonna basically be like I'm gonna be a small forward. Like, I know I'm too big, but, like, that's what I'm gonna do. And everyone's be like, chill, man, you good. We don't need you. You're good.
What a lot of people don't understand about the problem with exactly what you were talking about, which is Zingis' worst problem, is that he shoots threes at the top of the key and then just gets back. Is if the first guy back is your worst defensive player and your tallest rebounder, like, what do you think is going to happen in your transition offense or defense against a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George? Like, what do you think is going to happen against those guys who are going to push the pedal to the metal? Like, you saw
what happened.
And they had God, I wish they would have taken that series. It's so frustrating that they weren't able to, but Luka's only going to get better. If Cuban and that team can actually give them something to work with next year, I think they're in good shape. But they've got to bring in a good defensive point guard. I'm talking like a Rajon Rondo. I know he's getting old, but at least he could come in and build a winning mentality in that team. Luka's going to take the ball 90% of the time anyway. Get him some spot up shooters like you were just talking about. Hell, Miami Heat's not too high on Hero right now. Bring him in just to take a couple jump shots at the top of the key.
You know, like, who has a
I'd
player
rather
option?
have him than Zingis.
Here you go. Who has a team option? Duncan Robinson.
I'd love it.
Heat.
I didn't think the Heat would let him go. That's why I went Hero.
I mean, he's a team option.
Hero's just discount Robinson, right? That's all the Hero is. He's just discount Robinson.
Oh, that gets my juices flowing. Let me ask you one question. I know we should probably move on to your take, but let me ask you one more question. So, like, people wanted in early 2010s, early teens, right? Other players wanted to play with LeBron. They would go sign small deals to play with LeBron.
Bosh and Wade.
Is Luka that caliber? Like, can I like, for me asking for like Beal and for Kawhi Leonard to be like, am I realistic at all, or is that just like never? Is that just never gonna happen? Little volcano over there.
Yeah, I got a little foamy there, but I caught it. Hey, not a big deal. Not a whole lot of, I caught the foam. The mountains are blue. That's all I care about.
That's all I care about.
But I think it is too much to ask, because remember, by that time when LeBron was making the transition to the villain, where he like went to Miami, made the decision, went down to South Beach, consolidated with Wade and Bosh. He was already starting to become one of the best passers in the league. Like, he was already showing himself to be a facilitator and a playmaker more than just a raw scorer. And Luka's just a raw scorer. Like, that is like, Luka can play defense because he gives a shit. Like, he's not one of the best defensive players in the nation by far.
No.
But he cares. Zingas doesn't care, right? That's why he's a terror.
No.
Defense is all about effort. Everyone has said that from the beginning of time. Since Naismith created the fucking sport with leather balls and a weaved basket. But he doesn't have it. Luka does, and that's enough. You know what I mean? That's enough of what you need. He's not a super mega athlete. But don't get me wrong, I think people would love to play with Luka. I would love to play with Luka. I'm not in the NBA. Like, I'm white as Clorox. I'm not in there for a reason. But I would love to play with Luka. But if you look at a lot of other guys, especially after, that's the biggest problem with him, like rejecting the Paul George thing. And I don't think the league likes Paul George very much either, because he couldn't do it in Indiana and then bounced from superstar to superstar to superstar to try to win some fucking basketball games and couldn't. And so
I didn't want to say it.
I agree with you. I want more people to come and play with Luka. I just don't know if that's there, and I don't think Dallas is a good basketball location for people to go, personally.
So you brought it up, so I'll say it. You know how Luka somewhat dissed him on the no jersey swap. If you look at what Paul George is saying to him, he's saying, "I'll call you this summer. I'm gonna call you this summer. I'm gonna call you this summer."
Oh,
so maybe. Am I hopeful? Because I would definitely take him. He's off the ball. He's a great defender. Great defender.
Paul George would be a fantastic addition with Luka. Like, I agree with that 1,000%, because Paul George ain't a number one right now. Shit, he's teetering on 2. The Clippers can tell you that throughout this entire regular season. But he can shoot the ball, and he can ball, just not in the playoffs.
He really helped the Mavs, and
ain't a thing. So
no, and I'm not saying like it's gonna happen, but with these contracts and players having more power, he could get out of that contract, or they could take the contract. I don't know exactly how it would work. It was just something interesting, and maybe he was like, "Hey, I'll call you this summer to get your jersey," instead of doing it now because of COVID regulations. Maybe I don't know. I'm reading into it. That's enough. I've talked about the Mavs for way too long. Are you ready for your take?
I am ready for my take.
Okay, you know what? Just go ahead and jump into it. Your time starts now.
All right. I've said this a few times going into elevated takes that I brought here on this podcast, but this one I truly have to... I can't believe I'm doing this, but I have to swallow my tongue. I have to take my pride. I got to put it in the closet, and I've got to tell RJ that he's right.
Yes, let's go.
The conversation about LeBron James being in the top 3 to me is over. I made the excuse that he was arguably the GOAT for a long time, because I do to this day think he's the best physical specimen we've ever seen play basketball. Even today, as kids have trained straight out the womb to become basketball players, like, they are getting better and better every year, and LeBron James is still the best person athletically, and he does the most on the court of any player I've ever seen. But I cannot be an advocate of Tom Brady as the greatest football player of all time because solely of his intangibles, and then also sit here and tell you that LeBron James is the greatest of all time without them, because he doesn't have them. He doesn't have the Mamba mentality. He doesn't have Michael Jordan's everything. Michael Jordan is the Zeus on the pantheon of... I have fought this for years. I have fought this opinion for years because I watched Michael Jordan play, I watched LeBron play, and I'm like, but he rebounds better, but he can play defense better when he wants to. Like, he can block shots better than Michael ever did. But guess what? He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to play better than Michael Jordan, or else he's just content not being it. And the one thing that I cannot have in my elite athletes is being content, because they are the greatest athletes in the history of the world. The 1% of the 1% are the people who we are talking about, and he is content. He's content to walk off the floor when his team's down 20. He's content to watch his second best player go down and then throw the towel in. Oh, I guess I'll get him next year. You're not going to get him next year, LeBron. You've got an AARP letter coming in the mail next week. Like, there is no chance you're ever going to win another championship acting like this. And as far as I'm concerned, the conversation's over. The conversation was reignited for me when he came back against those Warriors, came back from the 3-1 deficit, and blocked that Andre Iguodala layup. It was one of the greatest NBA plays I've ever seen. And it's hard for me not to admit that. And that's when I was like, maybe he is the greatest because he lived in such a hard era to play basketball. Well, now it's just showing me that he never had it. Kobe was better. Michael was better. Kareem was better. Larry was better. And so I'm done with the conversation. I have to concede to you. I'm done fighting the LeBron James fight. Number 23, number 6, and 23, get to the back of the line. Because I got 33 above you, I got 23 above you, I got 8 and 24 above you, and I'm done with the conversation. LeBron, no longer the GOAT. No longer a chance at the GOAT.
All you people at home who are like, hey, RJ, you might have let Shady go a little too long. You're out your damn mind if you think I'm cutting him off when he's going off about LeBron. Are you kidding me? You know how long I've been waiting for this?
I knew. I had 5 minutes. I had 6 minutes. I had as much. I knew as going into that take, I was gonna have some extra time on that. But dude, I had to bring it up. There's just no way after this year that I can give it to him.
I don't know what else to say. I've said everything. Like his last game, right? He's got 6 minutes left. He's down by, I think, 14 at the time, and he just doesn't play defense at all. He stands there, the guy blows by him. He walks back. Oh, there's multiple possessions where he never left. He cherry-picked. Like, he didn't even cross half court. Nope. The referee made it there before LeBron did.
Yep, exactly.
So, he just doesn't want it. And, like, it reminds me of a movie called Rookie of the Year. And so he's pitching for the first time, and a pitcher comes up to him, and he just makes something up. And he's just like, you got to want it, and you got to have it. It's called the have-to. You got to have the have-to. You got to desire it. You need to desire it. You got me? LeBron don't have the have-to. He don't. He is amazing specimen. And, like, I mean that in the most, like, you are an amazing athlete. You had been a great athlete and a great professional in any sport you picked. Boxing, you could have probably been amazing at too. UFC, been amazing. But you don't have the desire for some reason, and I don't get it. You talked about it for so long in your early career, then something changed, and I don't know what it was. You're just happy with what you got, but like I think, like Shady said, like what this has come down to is the debate of you being better than MJ is like laughable at this point. It's laughable. Like, you don't take anything personally. MJ would find a reason you sneezed, and he sneezed and you didn't say bless you. You're on his list forever. Ever. You're never getting off of it. At this point, man, you're letting people dunk on you. You're letting people do anything, and you're just like, yeah, okay, cool. Now I'll see y'all. Y'all want to be in my movie? Y'all want to be in my movie? It's going to be real good. Yep. I don't know. It's just, I'm not, you said it. I don't want to spend more time on LeBron. Do you have anything else you want to say about it? Because, like, this is all you, man. I've made my piece.
All I have to say is, like, yeah, like because of what he brought to the table for so long, I wanted to believe that he was the greatest. And not to mention, I'm 27. You know what I mean? I'm not an old man. I watched Michael play, but it wasn't like I wasn't old enough to know what was going on. And in every sports athlete, there's something in you where you want to be the one who observes greatness. You want to be the one who observes the greatest of all time, or can tell your kids about the stories of how elite these people were, and no one could have competed in other eras because it was my era. There's that little pride. There's pride in every sports fan in the world. So I wanted that. For years I wanted that. And he blew it. I think it was the 2015 championship against the Warriors, dude. I think after he beat that team, that injured team, he like that team that got beat up, like without KD, because he could never beat that team. He was just like, no, I'm the greatest, and that's how it's going to be. And you can't do that because no other person in the conversation ever did that. Kobe Bryant was a broken down Cadillac, and he scored 60 points in his last game. What are you going to score, LeBron? You're going to have 18 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds? Because I can guarantee you that's how he's going to go out after this year. That's how it's going to be wrapped up.
Would MJ, if they had fantasy basketball back then, would MJ ever be a second-round pick in fantasy basketball?
Fuck
no. No. LeBron's definitely a second rounder. I'm not wasting a first round pick on LeBron. No way. No way. He doesn't play enough games.
Not after this year.
Take everything else out of it. Yeah.
No, so to wrap, put a little bow on this, just so everyone knows where I stand. The greatest NBA players of all time, number one. This is the first time I'm ever saying it out loud. I didn't even say it out loud when I was rehearsing this speech. Because I didn't even have to rehearse it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how passionately I feel about this bullshit. Michael Jordan, number 23. He's the greatest basketball player of all time, and I don't think you can make an argument for some other players, but he's number one. Number two, Larry Bird. You know how much I love Larry Bird. Larry Bird, he's got the fire. He had something that LeBron just never, for some reason, ever had. And number three, Kobe Bryant. I'll end it at that. We could round it out, number four, probably Kareem. But number one, Michael Jordan. Number two, Larry Bird. Number three, Kobe Bryant. Come fight me.
Boom. I love it. I can't. Maybe we'll do that one time. We'll do a segment called like top five or something like that.
Yeah,
and we'll
love
both
that.
go run down our top five.
I'm a list guy. I'm big on those lists.
You're a huge list guy. So yeah,
I love the list.
We'll definitely do that. Speaking of segments, hello.
Hey, let's get on over to one. We're a little delayed today. We had to go off on some shit today. That's for sure. We had to get some stuff off of our chest. So I think we get into the old segment here. We're going to throw a new one. You want a curveball here, RJ? Want a new old segment? All right. So while we're talking about the the dirt bags in the NBA referee committee who can't seem to get it right, we're talking about the dirt bag LeBron James can't bring the thunder when he has every single reason to bring the thunder.
Doesn't have the have to.
We're going to do a little segment here called Dirtbag Prosecution.
Love it.
I don't know if you guys know this, but on the side, RJ and I are amateur lawyers. That's a lie. We absolutely are not. But RJ is very familiar with the law, and I'm very interested in it. And there are a lot of folks in the sports world who seem to like to tread in the dark waters of the law. So we're here to lay it down and serve as the prosecutors for these dirt bags in the sports world. This is Dirtbag Prosecution. Court is in session. RJ, who are you prosecuting today?
Well, the guy I want to prosecute is kind of a... So, I went at this a little different than Shady probably did. What I did is Hold on. 1 second. There we go. Amber Alerts. Amber Alerts just, always just ruin everything.
Oh,
so... I know.
You should look out for those cars, though. You shouldn't just talk shit about Amber Alerts like that.
Anyone sees a white Prius, drive behind me, y'all let me know. Okay, I got to make some phone calls.
You got to find them kids.
Okay, I'm picking one guy and I'm bringing the hammer down on him, but it's to send a message to everyone else.
Ooh.
Trevor Bauer.
Oh yes,
seems like a good player. I like
Prosecute
him. But the pitching, I've been so high on baseball and how pitching has been so amazing. Well, his spin rate has increased at an abnormal rate. And wait a second, all of the Dodgers pitchers' fastball has increased. The spin rate has increased so much. The only solution is that they're using foreign substances. Literally cheating, doing what the Astros did, and there's a whole bunch of pitchers across MLB. But I'm picking you, Trevor. I'm picking you because you're a Cy Young winner, man. You're a top tier athlete. You're fun. You do the sword thing, man. We're supposed to like you, and you're gonna go ahead and disgrace my game. This game I've been fighting for. You're gonna do that. So no. I hope they come at you hard. Suspended. 82 games. Yeah. That's a half a season, baby. That's a half a season.
That is a half a season.
Yeah. It's all right, though.
Math is hard.
It's all right.
Math
Baseball's
is hard,
my
ladies and
thing.
gentlemen.
Baseball's my thing, so don't worry about that. You need to get hit hard because it needs to send a message to these people, man. I love baseball, and I want a good product, but I don't want cheating. I don't want pine tar on the ball on purpose. I don't want tobacco spit on it on purpose. I don't want it scratched up and because you got a tack in your glove on purpose, man. Just play the game the way it's supposed to. You don't need it. You're already in the top tier.
Yeah.
Shady,
yeah.
What do you think?
So, if I was on the jury, I would vote guilty. But not without some conference from my fellow jurors. And here's why. Because while I agree with you, I don't want cheating in my game. Like I said, Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire need to get... They do not deserve to be in the Hall. Pete Rose does. Again, another shout out to Petey. Hey, you should be in the Hall. I think it's bullshit that you're not. But either way, cheating is wrong. And if you're the 1% of the 1%, like I was just I just said in my LeBron take, you shouldn't need to cheat. Like you said, you're a Cy Young winner. You should be above that.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I will say is that because of the state of Major League Baseball, the league over the past few years have made some very provocative changes to the game that do make it harder for pitchers to be successful. So I'm not saying he's right. And what's really frustrating about this entire thing is he was interviewed about it yesterday or the day before, and the dude couldn't even like deny it. He was like dancing around the question like a ballerina. We got Black Swan out here tip-tapping around the questions that the interviewers were asking him. Probably because he's a good Christian boy, didn't want to lie. Didn't want to lie on the stand.
Catch me lying. Hold on now.
Yeah. But either way, it's like the MLB has made it so hard for pitchers to be successful in today's baseball because they think that we always talk about scoring scores viewers. And so home runs get viewers. That's why Aaron Judge has exploded. You know, that's why you got to get did explode. He's not playing too great this year. But that's why he exploded. That's why the collusion down when Jeter became the GM of the Marlins and got him up to New York. Got some good dingers up to New York. So what I'm saying is if a guy comes to you and he says, "Hey, we're starting an underground conspiracy. All the pitchers in the league are going to do this shit because the MLB has been throwing us under the bus." And I'm not saying this happened, obviously. I am not a reporter. I have no idea if this is the case. I'm just saying. Some guy says to me and says, "Hey, listen, the league could not be making it harder for you guys to be successful. You want the numbers. You want to be someone who people remember. Then you got to do this because everybody else is doing it." And that's a terrible excuse. My mama, jumping over the bridge. We all know the old adage. But it's just like when you don't trust the league you're playing for anyway, and they're constantly making decisions that make it harder for you to do what you've always done, I get it. But like I said, if I'm on that jury, I'm still voting guilty.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say about it is I have a very small sympathy for them because hitting, like you said, they made it easier for hitters. I want people to watch the game so the game will keep growing. But cheating, that just doesn't sit right with me. And one GM put it best. He was asked about the state of pitchers doctoring balls. That's the best way to put it. And he said, it's so obvious, it's laughable. So it's not just Trevor Bauer. It's, according to, what's going on, what the GMs of teams are saying, like everyone's doing it. Like it's not even cheating anymore if everyone's doing it. That's what I got for Dirtbag. It seems like a nice guy, but don't ruin my game, man. I'm gonna come after you.
I hear you.
So what do you have? Who's your who am I? I'm on the jury now. Ready? I'm ready. All right.
I would like to call Mr. Keith Appling to the stand.
Ooh, damn. Okay, damn. I heard
my
about this
dirtbag prosecution today is Mr. Keith Appling. So for those of you who don't know, who don't stay up to date with NCAA basketball because he sure as shit didn't make it in the league, the NBA, he was a basketball player from Michigan State, was a fantastic guard that they Izzo rode for a while. Small guy, but very, very talented. He won Mr. Basketball of Michigan in 2010. Went to Pershing High School. For those of you who don't know, some other people who won that award, just so you know how prestigious it is, Shane Battier won that award. Jason Richardson won the Michigan Mr. Basketball Award. Monte Morris, backup point guard of the Denver Nuggets, won that award. I played him in high school. RJ played him in high school. We knew that guy. He was pretty cool. Keith Appling ended up going to Michigan State. Did all right. Didn't really make it in the league like we said. Well, very recently, Keith Appling is facing a murder charge in connection with a fatal shooting of his uncle or cousin or some shit like that last month.
Damn.
Wayne County, a county in Michigan, is pursuing charges: 1 count first-degree murder, 1 count of being a felon in possession of a firearm, and 2 counts of felony firearm, which tells you that he was a felon before any of this took place. So the reason I gave you a little bit of his history here is he clearly had every opportunity to succeed. Like I said, he went to Detroit Pershing, very prestigious high school. A player from their high school won Mr. Basketball the year before. Went to Michigan State on what I can only assume was a full ride from the Ismaster.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I don't understand, RJ. And maybe you can explain it to me because you're closer to this world. But how can somebody who has all of the potential in the world to make it, even if you don't go to the league, he was talented enough to play in 100 countries, do 100 different things, use thousands of different connections that he had made over his lifetime, being a fantastic basketball player. How do you end up murdering your uncle in Detroit? You go back to your roots, which I get, but come on. How do you fall so far from grace when you've had every opportunity to rise from it? When I know so many kids from so many worse scenarios who do everything that they can to crawl and drag themselves out of that pit to become lawyers, doctors, senators. How do you allow that to happen to yourself?
So I got a couple things to say, and so I'm going to talk for a couple minutes, hopefully not too long. As a judge and jury, I'm going to call him guilty of doing something wrong. I mean, out of all them charges, felon with a gun, then he's got multiple charges of it. I'm just going to say he did something wrong, guilty or not guilty. He did something wrong. So I'm going to say that. It's weird because, like, Tom Izzo doesn't, like, seem like he recruits bad kids, right? Like, but a kid who I played with he was a senior in high school when I was a 7th grader, Kalen Lucas. He also was a star at Michigan State. Didn't quite make it. Didn't quite make it in the NBA. He's in jail for, I think, shooting up a stripper or some stupid. What are you doing? You no dumb head brain. Like what? Why? So like, does that say something about Tom Izzo that 2 of his stars that he recruited out of Michigan, out of the state of Michigan, are going to be in jail the rest of their lives, maybe? And then the other thing I want to say is something you brought up, Shady, was, I forget the school. Shady will know it. I was a freshman, and we play a school, I believe it was Flint Northeast, the red one. Which one's the red and white?
Red and white was...
Southwest?
Well, Beecher was red and white. That's where Monte Morris went. But I think it was... Flint Beecher was red and white. I think you're talking about Central, though. Flint Central.
Okay. One of the
They're no longer a school. They dilapidated. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say, his name was Upchurch. His last name was Upchurch. I forget his name.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
I was a freshman. I stayed to watch him play. By far, I've played in many college basketball gyms. Okay, I have played against many college athletes. I've played against Monte Morris.
Yep.
This guy was by far the most talented player I've ever seen. I don't know what his scholarships was because, like, right, I stayed to watch this guy. Well, maybe a year later, no, it was still his senior year. I hear that he's in jail now. I'm like, what happened? This dude, I know a little bit more because I had connections at the time with the legal system. But this dude lost $20. Someone owed him $20 from a game or something. So what does he do? Oh, what any young juvenile would do, right? Like, oh, I'm just going to go beat you up in the parking lot. No. I'm going to drive by your house with an AK-47 and shoot up your house, killing an infant and wounding an elderly lady. He's in jail the rest of his life. Complete waste of talent. And the best person I've ever seen play.
Yep.
And I talk about this all the time. Like, I'll tell people, this conversation will come up because it hurts me that he just threw it away. Go ahead, Shady. I don't really don't want to talk right now.
So for those of you who don't, we don't really talk a whole lot about our origins. But RJ grew up in the Detroit area and the Warren area. I grew up in the Flint area. So we know a lot of people on both sides of the fence here. We know a lot of people who grew up in the worst of the worst and made it out in the best possible way and made more of themselves than anybody other than them thought they would be, because that was just the type of people that they are. And then we see the other side, where it's some people who were handed everything in the world from God or whoever you believe in to make it, and then they make decisions for some reason, whether it's an obligation to the streets or just some other force that just rubs them down the wrong path, going down there. Another example of this, I'm not gonna say his name because I'm not sure if he was ever prosecuted, and it's not worth it. But he went to Flint Southwestern, which was another very prestigious basketball school, had a lot of guys who could just ball out. He lost a game of dice one day. The dude lost a game of dice, lost all of his money, walked into a taco shop in Flint, about 15 miles from where I grew up.
Yep.
He walked in. They didn't even know they were robbing him, because he was someone who came in there all the time, and he was wearing a ski mask, and they thought, they literally said verbatim, according to reports, we thought you were going to rob us. And he says, I am going to rob you.
Oh, my God.
He had a D1 offer to go to Ball State. He could have played at Central Michigan, Western Michigan, could have made it. Ended up in jail. So this is all I got to say about this, honestly. And it tears me apart to even bring this up, because this is our roots. This is like where we came from. And these are, again, guys that we played against.
Come on.
But there's always something more. If it doesn't work out in basketball, it's going to work out in something else. Like I never thought I was going to be successful in logistics. I wanted to be a history professor before I realized that was complete garbage.
Did. You're like, school, no thank you.
Yeah, school was for fools.
School is for
Look
fools.
Look at me. But there's always something better. And if you're fantastic at basketball, that means you're going to be fantastic at something else. It isn't a one-way street. There are always avenues for you to grow and change into better people. And if you're a leader on the court, you can damn sure be leader somewhere else. So for all of you kids, 16, 17, who it doesn't play out the way you want it to, I can guarantee you there is something else out there for you that doesn't include shooting up a taco shop or doing a drive-by on some bullshit.
Yeah, so, Shady just said it perfectly, so I'm just going to say this real quick. This has been a kind of a cool episode. One of my favorites so far by far.
I agree. So, I didn't think it was gonna be. I was feeling a little off today. I'm wearing a visor. Yeah. I didn't know how it was gonna be.
So I'm gonna say like and subscribe. This has been a great episode. Leave a comment, follow us, hit the Twitter at Elevated Takes, website elevatedtakes.com, and then obviously you're on here on the YouTube. The YouTube is just Elevated Takes. I'm just gonna throw it over to Shady and let Shady do his outro, because this is kind of like the perfect opportunity for it. So. All you.
Yeah, and so I have a catered outro today based off of how this whole thing went, and it wasn't something scripted. This is just how the conversation flew onto the clouds. But if you are one of those kids, if something happens where you for some reason you have this overwhelming fight in you, and you always have, or else you wouldn't be successful like this, reach out to somebody. Reach out to a mentor. Reach out to somebody who did get out of what you were in. And if you can't, reach out to us, because we know people who've done it. We've seen the people at the bottom of the pits who, like I said, were able to crawl themselves out of it using everything that they had. And I know you can too, because you've shown it. You wouldn't be successful in anything if you can't be successful in something else. So like I always say, I won't even tell you to reach out today, because you need to do it. You need to find it. You need to figure it out. And I know that you can. RJ knows that you can. And everybody else who loves you knows that you can. You need to know that you can. Just because your life or your basketball game isn't elevated doesn't mean that it's not important. So treat it like it is. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for listening in.
Deuces.